Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. Today is going to be the amazing Stage 5 summit finish here at Vuelta Catalunya. We know Primoz Roglič and Remco Evenepoel are going to do a big-time battle here on today's last summit finish climb. Now today's stage, 175 kilometers, about 115 miles in length, so it's pretty long, but not a whole lot of activity early in the stage, so we know everything's going to come down to this final climb. Last climb, about 8.5 kilometers, almost 9% average, so we know this is absolutely the queen stage here at Vuelta Catalunya because the climb is really like 12-15 kilometers. It's a solid climb, but 8.5 at almost 9% average. It is nasty climb. And when we start looking at the top, it's all hairpins all the way up to the top. It's going to be a difficult day for all of the top GC riders in the European peloton because we got basically some of the best riders, top quality field here at Catalunya. Sure, you're missing the number 1 ranked rider, Paris-Nice winner Tadej Pogacar, but you have the number 2 and the number 3 rider in the world, Primoz Roglič, and Remco Evenepoel from Soudal Quick-Step here. So when the racing starts, we see the breakaway up front. We got 3 riders up there from Kern Pharma that are pulling as hard as they possibly can, trying to do some damage to the peloton behind. But their lead is only at 2.5 minutes up there. So it's not going to be enough. Early in the stage, up in the breakaway, you had Guillaume Martin up there, the KOM leader from Cofidis. But as soon as he grabs his KOM points on the smaller climbs on here on stage 5, he's going to drop off and get caught by the peloton behind. That's being led, of course, by Soudal Quick-Step's Remco Evenepoel's team because he told us 2 days ago, right? He said he was going to drill it on this climb because he said he wanted a second shot. Even earlier before today's stage in his interview, he said if they can win today's stage, that would be great because they'd love to have 2 stage victories here. But the main objective, of course, is the overall classification. So Soudal Quick-Step's going full gas back there. They're keeping the gap relatively small at 2.5 minutes. And then things are going to start getting nervous once we get down to 20 kilometers to go. That's where we see the field start going wide and you start seeing all the teams lined up there. Everything is starting to play with 20 kilometers to go. So if you don't have 60 kilometers of viewing time, make sure you turn in from 20 kilometers to go. Now with about 15, we're going to see a bump up front and it's going to come from Remco Evenepoel on the UNO-X rider. This actually was the fault of Soudal Quick-Step because his lead out man in front, I believe it's Matteo Cattaneo, when he pulls past the first rider, UNO-X, he goes all the way over to the right, and that's forcing Remco Evenepoel, who's just been following his lead-out train all day long like this, wherever they go. He's not paying attention, so he's going to go straight into the shoulder there of the UNO-X rider. Then he's going to turn right and give a big-time stare to the UNO-X rider. Yo, Remco, this was your fault, and it was your lead-out man's fault up there, not the UNO-X rider. Although the UNO-X rider, being polite that he is, he moves over to the right and drops off the front of the peloton, and now Quick-Step's on the front still. Now, when you start getting into the climb proper, the breakaway up front, didn't have much time. They had about a minute when the climb starts proper, and then all of a sudden, you're going to see Gourmet up there throw an attack. Kern Pharma is going to try to bring him back, but they're not going to have much hope because Gourmet's got some pretty good form, but he's not going to have enough to hold off the field behind, so he will get brought back. Now in the peloton, as things start getting nervous back there, we see Fausto Masnada, Soudal Quick-Step, go off left to the road, and then he gets his bike back on the road, and you see him get a little nervous. He's on the left side. He's going around the peloton here so he can pass and go up the right side. Realizes that's blocked after he's passed 3 or 4 riders, and then he's going to scoot all the way through those 3 or 4 riders that he just passed, go to the left side of the road, and he's going to get stuck about halfway in the peloton while the action's happening at the front of the peloton, but it's all curb to curb with the top GC teams in the world right now trying to decide who is going to win stage 5 in the general classification here at the Vuelta Catalunya. Now we see the battle up there with all the teams lined out. Once the climb starts proper at about 8.5 kilometers to go, that's when all of a sudden we start seeing Bora Hansgrohe come to the front with about 7.5, 8 kilometers to go. Bora Hansgrohe's throwing down. Remember those knuckleheads yesterday? They had a 3-way battle back there to see who could win the team classification amongst themselves on yesterday's stage 4. Well, now they're trying to get some redemption because Ada's up front. He's suffering big time. You see his head all crooked all over to the side of the shoulder because he's hurting so much. I don't know what they're doing. Brian Smith on GCN, the commentator, he's talking about how he's so impressed with the work they're doing. Man, what are you guys doing? I remember racing the Tour de France back in the day when Andy Schleck won, and it was a big-time battle between Andy Schleck and Alberto Contador. And let me tell you, every time we came to the final climb, there was never a moment when I got on the radio and said, hey guys, I think this would be a great idea to get on the front and start pulling for Alberto Contador or Andy Schleck, because I got some great form. We might be able to drop them. I might be able to do something special. So we see Bora Hansgrohe back there riding the front for absolutely no reason. And you know why there's no reason? Because 2 days ago, Remco Evenepoel already told us he wants to ride this stage for the win and destroy the whole peloton. So Bora Hansgrohe, what are you doing? You know Soudal Quick-Step's going to get on the front. Oh, well, they're on the front anyways. They're throwing down on the front, stringing it out, making it a little bit easier for Remco Evenepoel and Primoz Roglič, Jumbo-Visma, because he hasn't had to pull all day long with the Jumbo-Visma team always sitting behind Soudal Quick-Step throughout this stage. Now, after Jai Hindley throws in his tack, it's going to be a meager one, because guess what? The GCN commentators didn't even catch it. It was so small. He throws in the tack, and of course it gets brought back right away. And now it's Bahrain Victorious Gino Mader that's on the front. Again, a bunch of knuckleheads here. What are they doing? You hear the GCN commentators start talking about these guys are racing for third place to get on the podium here. You don't have to put your guys on the front. Soudal Quick-Step is going to do that for you. How do I know? Remco Evenepoel told us 2 days ago that he wants to win this stage, so you know he's going to go full gas on this stage. Bahrain Victorious, you guys are a bunch of knuckleheads too. They're up there swinging as hard as they can. And then finally, Gino Mader will pull off. By this point in time, they've already brought back the whole breakaway up front. Now everything's all together. We're going for a full stage victory here out of the GC favorites. And we're going to see who can take the general classification lead at the end of this stage 5. With the ending there of Gino Mader on the front, Soudal Quick-Step's on the front now, and they got their guy lined out, Jan Hertz. Hertz is doing a great job on the front, stringing it out. And when you look at the picture, I want to point something out. Very, very important to you guys, because I've brought it up already on the earlier mountain stage. Primoz Roglič is sitting on Remco Evenepoel's wheel at this point in time. He's not behind the American rider Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss is close, but he's not on his wheel. He's on Remco Evenepoel's wheel. Remember I told you guys yesterday Primoz Roglic's form could get better. This is the first sign, right? All the other mountain stages, when I told you he was always just a little bit off of Remco Evenepoel's wheel and not fighting for the position with Mikel Landa and always sitting behind his first lieutenant, Sepp Kuss. Well, now he's directly on Remco Evenepoel's wheel, and Jan Hurt is pulling full gas on the front. We got Ian Van Wilder sitting second, Remco Evenepoel third, and Primoz Roglič sitting fourth. Now we see Remco Evenepoel get on his radio. This means he wants his guys to go full gas. We see it all the time. Jan Hurt starts throwing in as hard as he can. He swings off, looks over at his teammate Ian Van Wilder, who now starts going full gas. Ian Van Wilder is throwing down at just under 5 kilometers to go. The Belgian kid, he's only going to do a few hundred meters, and now at 4.6 kilometers, we see the big attack from Remco Evenepoel. He accelerates hard. Primoz Roglič is locked onto his wheel. Just behind, holding on, is Marc Soler, UAE Team Emirates. He had to come around the wheel of Sepp Kuss, the American, to accelerate and close this gap. Soler gets up there, and what does the Solerism do? Oh, yes, absolutely, no doubt about it. You know he's going to attack. When we look back, the field is blowing up all over the place. Ciccone, who was swinging basically last rider in that group of 20 before the attack of Remco Evenepoel, he is back there hoping someone can help him out. He's got a couple Bora Hansgrohe riders wrapped around him. The Bora Hansgrohe guys who made the racing so hard at the beginning of this stage, at the beginning of this last climb here on stage 5. Now they're blowing up too. Ciccone's holding on for dear life, but he's going backwards. Up front with the attack of Soler, it doesn't last too long, because what does he do? Spanish rider flicks his elbow, looks back, he wants some help. Man, you're not going to get much help, at least not from Primoz Roglič, because he's not going to pull with Remco Evenepoel. Remco Evenepoel comes through, does one little bit of attack, but not full on the pedals. So we'll see those 3 riders still locked together, because Primoz Roglič is locked onto the Belgian rider's wheel. Now, let's go further back down the peloton, because it's Almeida back there from UAE Team Emirates. He was in the 3rd, 4th group back there swinging, but just fighting like a diesel motor that he's got, trying to come back up to the Woods Almeida group. You see him look back. He's got a big bit of a gap on the guys back behind him, and he tries to accelerate again. He'll find himself up to the Woods group. Now we go back up front to the group of three. It's Remco Evenepoel on the front. I don't think he's going full gas because some of the guys from behind are making a little bit of gains, and it's going to be Almeida that does a massive acceleration back there. He's going to drop Landa, Woods, and start going solo across the gap. Up front, we see there was Soler. Soler's looking back over his shoulder because he knows his teammate's coming, but he doesn't drop back to get Almeida. I don't know exactly why. You guys have to tell me what the Solerism plan is here. He's sitting third wheel, though, as we see Remco Evenepoel on the front, Primoz Roglič sitting second. Now we're coming into 2.3 kilometers to go when Almeida finds his way up to the front group. Almeida, you have some spectacular diesel engine legs, dropping everyone back there and finding your way up to this front group. And then what does Soler do? Oh my cycling gods. What were you thinking, Soler? Soler goes straight to the front with Almeida on his wheel because they're in the front elite group, right? And they got to show the UAE team members are the team to beat. They're racing for third place on the general classification, not for first. Not for first at all. These guys are only thinking about podium. As you see, Marc Soler on the front. He's throwing down with everything. And let me remind you guys, you got Primoz Roglič and Remco Evenepoel on the wheel with Soler pulling 100% after Almeida just got there. So you know Almeida's got to be a bit in the red, right? Well, Soler doesn't care. He's going full gas. This is the plan. They want a podium here. They're not even thinking about the win. They're not even hoping for the stage win because let me remind you, Soler could have possibly won the stage if he just sat back the whole time and just followed wheels, let Almeida get up there, let the two guys slow down because you know Primoz Roglič is not going to work with Remco Evenepoel. Sooner or later, Remco Evenepoel is going to slow down. And now you got two UAE team members that could go win the stage. Who cares if you're third or if you're fifth on the general classification because Almeida's got some legs so he could win the stage, but instead they just want to be on the podium for the general classification. It's about 1.1 kilometers to go. And Soler's finally done. He pulls off hard right as we go into this left bend. And then Almeida's going to keep accelerating on the pedals. We look back. Landa from Bahrain victorious. He's starting to come off the group. He can't hold the Woods group as he's dropping off. And as Lenny Martinez, the FDJ rider, the young kid, he's dropping Landa back there too. Bahrain victorious. Would have been probably nice to maybe go a little bit slower up this last climb on stage 5 here and keep your teammates together so when Landa gets popped, maybe you'd have some teammates like Gino Mader, Wout Poels, or someone to help him along and do some damage control. Instead, they made the racing fast all the way up the climb. Now, Landa's getting popped off the back as the 3 leaders up front are going to decide who wins on stage 5. Now, we're coming into about a K to go, and all of a sudden, we see one more acceleration from Almeida. It won't stick too much, and then Remco Evenepoel pulls up to the front of the group, over to the right side of the road, decides he needs to put his sunglasses on for the pictures, I guess. So we're going to see Remco sit up, grab his sunglasses, take the time to put it on, and then he's going to accelerate. One more attack by Almeida as we're coming into the left bend. Remco Evenepoel's like, I got this, no problem. He brings that attack back because he wants to win today's stage. Remember, he told everyone 2 days ago that Quick-Step were going to control everything, and they were going to try to get 2 stage wins out of here, out of this week of racing at Catalunya. Now, with Remco Evenepoel throwing in a big-time acceleration, he can't get rid of Primoz Roglič, who's got some fitness. Remember, he's the number 2 best rider in the world. 400 meters to go. Primoz Roglič throws in his own attack, and this is a wise move at this point in time just to see where Remco Evenepoel is because you still have enough time to slow down and recover. We see Almeida getting popped off the back now after doing all that pulling on the front with Soler and bridging across just before that and attacking multiple times. Now the Portuguese rider's coming off the back. There's nothing he can do about it. 300 meters comes, and all of a sudden Remco Evenepoel throws in a big-time acceleration. Primoz Roglič is dangling just a hair off the wheel, but not by much. He'll start to bring it back at about 150 meters. Remco Evenepoel will throw in another acceleration right then, and then at about 100 meters, they're side by side. And then we see one more acceleration out of Remco Evenepoel. The kid, the Belgian kid, has done multiple accelerations before the finish line here at stage 5. Primoz Roglič comes back up with about 50 meters to go, throws in his own acceleration, goes all the way to the line as a gap comes off of the Slovenian's wheel because Remco Evenepoel can't hold the pace. Now up front, Primoz Roglič, does he celebrate? No way, man. The Slovenian, he throws his bike at the line to get maximum time gap on Remco Evenepoel behind. He wins the stage, 10-second time bonus. Remco Evenepoel gets second on the stage for 6-second time bonuses. That's 4 seconds. But that bike throw after up to the line will gain him 6-second gap on Remco Evenepoel, which will put him in a solid lead starting tomorrow's stage 6 here at Vuelta a Catalunya. Now, third on the stage, Almeida. Congratulations, UAE team members. You got yourself another podium finish here in a week-long race, just like Trino Adriatico. Almeida, when you get home from these 2 weeks of races, Trino Adriatico and here at Vuelta a Catalunya, you get to tell everybody how much of a knucklehead you were and how you were only racing for third place instead of trying to get a stage win. I mean, I was impressed. Almeida, you had some serious form. Soler had some serious form, and the Solerism is something special. Guys, I got asked in the comments, are there other riders that are like Soler? Is there other riders that have the Solerism? There's tons of other Solerisms out there in the peloton, but the reason why there's only one Solerism is because you have to be good enough to be at the front of the group at these crucial moments. You have to be about third or fourth, maybe second, sometimes best rider on your team. So you have to be on a quality team like UAE Team Emirates. So remember, if you're a Solerism, but you can't get to the finish with the front group, you can't be a Solerism. And if you don't ride for a better team because you're the number one rider on the team, all your tactics would be right pretty much at this moment, so you can't be a Solerism. So you have to have a perfect storm in order to be a Solerism. And Marc Soler, you are definitely the Solerism because attacking Primoz Roglič and Remco Evenepoel right after their first attack, absolute knucklehead move. Not dropping back for Almeida to help him pull him back up to these front guys, knucklehead move. Pulling on the front, trying to help Almeida win a podium here, knucklehead move. You're already sitting top 5. Never once in my life have I ever cared so much to give up a chance at a win just to move up a couple spots on the general classification. Made no difference. Now, would I like to be third instead of fifth? Absolutely. But if you're telling me I can have the stage win instead of a couple places on the general classification, I'm always going for the stage win. But UAE Team Emirates, Marc Soler, and Almeida, they're not interested in a stage win. They want to pull Primoz Roglič and Remco Evenepoel all day long. Well, Primoz Roglič, with that bike throw, you are solidly in the race lead. I told you guys yesterday on the butterfly effect, look out for the Slovenian because he could easily have his form still going up. Today we saw his form going up. He raced intelligently the whole time and then took the race leader's jersey. Solid lead going into the last 2 stages here at Vuelta a Catalunya. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm sure there's going to be some more Marc Solerisms to come in these next 2 stages. And we know Remco Evenepoel on the last stage here at Vuelta a Catalunya, he's going to try everything he can to dislodge Primoz Roglič. But Primoz Roglič, Jumbo-Visma, it's hard for me to say it, but it's true. Primoz Roglič is racing very intelligently, following Remco Evenepoel all over the place. So I don't see how you can beat the Slovenian because Remco Evenepoel is not going to win a field sprint, and there's no way Primoz Roglič is going to do some extra pulling for no reason. But remember, there are time bonuses available, so there is a chance for Remco Evenepoel to be able to come back if he can win a stage, and Primoz Roglič cannot grab any time bonus and have to lose a second or 2 in the gaps on the times. So it's doable. It's going to be an exciting next 2 stages here at Vuelta a Catalunya. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.